Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Anil Gupta from University of Jammu. Today we are going to talk on the module Intensive Strategies from paper Strategic Management. After completing this module, you will be able to understand what are the basics of intensive strategy. You will also know about various intensive strategies as well as understand various strategies for implementing intensive strategies. You will also know various considerations for each of these strategic options. When a firm chooses to grow through expansion, intensive growth strategies bring highest gains with least amount of risk and effort. Under intensive strategies, growth is achieved by expanding the scale of operations. Firms undertake intensive effort to improve their competitive position. Intensive strategies are implemented when a company wants to expand its market reach or its product line. If a firm enters a new market or develops a new product or develop its own capabilities, then understand that the firm is undertaking intensive strategies. These strategies help in fast growth and thus making a company stronger and much more competitive. Let us look at what are the various types of intensive strategies available. To identify various types of intensive strategies, Igor Ansoff proposed a product market expansion grid which proposes 4 growth alternatives. This grid is popularly known as Ansoff matrix, and it is a strategic planning tool which is used by various managers across the world to identify strategic options for future growth. This matrix uses 2 dimensions which are related to the type of the product and the nature of the market. Students, look at this Ansoff matrix. On y-axis, it talks about what is the nature of market, and on the x-axis, it talks about the nature of the product. There are 2 options as far as the nature of market is concerned. Either the firm can go in for new markets or can choose to serve the existing markets. On the x-axis, again, there are 2 options. Either the firm chooses to use the existing products to grow or decides to come up with new products that can help them to grow. If you see, there are 4 combinations in this matrix. The first combination talks about that the firm chooses existing products to serve the existing markets. That strategy has been named as market penetration. If the firm chooses to use existing products to serve the new markets, the strategy has been named as market development strategy. On the other end, if the firm decides to venture into new products but intends to serve the existing market, that strategic option is called as the product development option. Whereas the firm could choose to create new products and decide to serve the new market. The 4th option has been named as the diversification strategy. So the first 3, that is market penetration, market development, and the product development, become part of the intensive strategy. So let us understand the first strategic option of the Ansoff matrix, that is market penetration. Students, market penetration is a growth strategy under which the focus is to increase the market share by using the existing products in the existing markets. This strategy requires intensive and focused effort for increasing the market share, and it is one of the lowest risk strategy among the various options. This strategy can be used alone or in combination with other strategic options. It includes offering wide sales promotion, increasing the number of salespersons, rising advertising expenditure, or extensive publicity efforts can also enhance the market penetration. This is a strategy which is useful across all stages of product life cycle. To successfully apply this strategy, a firm should have mechanism to gather complete market and competitor intelligence. This strategy helps in quick diffusion and adoption of product in the market. So this strategy builds on existing strategic capabilities. You don't have to change the scope, and it leverages on economies of scale. And it also provides greater experience curve benefits. The basic motive is to build brand loyalty among customers towards the existing product, which helps you to successfully implement the penetration strategy. Market penetration to some extent is dependent on the organization, that how well they know about their existing product. So let us look at that under what conditions a market penetration strategy can be beneficial to the company. We have listed down few conditions under which if this strategy is implemented, it can result into better returns. First, when the product offers economies of scale, therefore helps in gaining competitive advantages, which means if you produce more, you can sell it at a lower price and therefore become more competitive. Under those circumstances, you decide to penetrate more into the market. When there is a scope of significantly increasing the usage rate of the product among the existing consumers. If the company feels that consumers are still not using the product optimally and the usage rate can be increased, the firm could choose market penetration as a strategic choice. When there is a large potential in the industry, but the share of existing customers is declining, again, this could be a possible scenario where market penetration could become a useful strategy. For example, if you take the case of the insurance industry, specifically the general insurance industry, there is a large potential for products like health insurance, but still not many people have opted for it. So if the company chooses a market penetration strategy, it can acquire more customers and ultimately grow in the long run. When the markets are not matured with the existing products or services. So when the market is growing and there is enough scope to reach to a wider customer base, again that possibility can be achieved if the company chooses market penetration as a strategy. So let us look at that how can the company actually move forward. So there are four options which the company can use. First is to retain or increase the product's market share. Companies can choose to dominate the growth market. They can eliminate the competitors by their own strategic route, or they can choose to increase the customer usage. So all these four options help you to penetrate deeper into the market. So let us discuss them in detail. Retain or increase product market share. This can be attained by grouping various competitive pricing strategy, advertising, and sales promotion. The objective is to retain what your existing share is, but you can come up with various sales promotion strategy that can help you to penetrate deeper into the market. A lot of apparel companies do this by coming up with various innovative sales promotion techniques that can help them to penetrate deep into the market. Recently, we saw that one of the companies, Reliance Jio, opted for the sales promotion technique to acquire new customer bases. You can dominate the growth market. For this, the company has to identify new demographics for the existing successful product and then to define the strategy to aggressively market the product to a new demographic. For example, if you remember, the brand Fair and Handsome basically came up and targeted a new segment, a new customer group, that is men. Just by changing the brand name and by keeping the same product, it was able to dominate the growth markets. The third strategy is to reorganize a mature market by driving out the competitors. So whenever the market is matured for the product and there is less space for number of competitors, companies can be innovative by aggressive promotional marketing and pricing strategy. And once the competitors get out of the business, the companies get access to a wider market share and therefore it can penetrate more into that customer segment. The fourth strategic choice, as mentioned earlier, is to increase the existing customer usage, where the objective is to motivate the consumers to use the product more frequently, or company can find out new ways of using that product, or come up with loyalty scheme where the customers buy more and try to keep it as part of the stock that can also help the companies to penetrate deep into the market. There are some additional tactics and strategies which can be applied to penetrate into the market, which include the companies can modify the price to attract more consumers. So, by reducing the price of the product, some customers could choose and select a particular brand. Consumer and trade promotions become a very important tool to penetrate deep into the market. Companies can choose to add new channel partners, right? So, at times, by spreading out your reach to wider consumers by adding new channel partners can help you to penetrate deep. You can motivate the non-users to start consuming the product. That's another way to penetrate deep into the market. Or try to communicate the new value of the product. And it has also been observed that when at times when you simply improve or modify the packaging that makes the product more affordable can help you to penetrate deep into the market. I would like to focus on the last option which has been used in various developing economies is the concept of sachet packing, right? So recently we have seen almost all kind of products, right, ranging from shampoos to creams, even biscuits, chocolates. They are available in small packaging size, which we call as sachet packing, where the product becomes much more affordable and consumers across various income groups are able to buy that product, which helps the firm to penetrate deep into the market. Let us look into certain examples to illustrate the market penetration strategy. Maggie, successfully implemented this strategy by offering product in various sizes and communicating it with the target market by innovative advertising. We all know that the standard packaging of Maggie is available at 10 rupees, 12 rupees, but it also came up with a smaller pack size which was available at 5 rupees that made it much more affordable. As I discussed earlier, various FMCG companies have come up with sachet packing, right? And that makes the product more affordable and therefore ensures market penetration. Mobile manufacturer Micromax, we used the price adjustment strategy. And we saw that how this company made the smartphones much more affordable. And just on account of that affordability, the company was able to achieve the leadership position as far as the Indian market is concerned. And it was able to beat out even large competitors like Nokia and Samsung just by using this price adjustment strategy. The second strategy of the ENSOF matrix is the market development strategy. When the firm introduces the existing products and services into new markets, it is known as the market development strategy. The sales and profit of the company can be increased by identifying new customers in new markets. The focus is to identify non-users in the existing customer segments. These markets can either be international or national, depending upon the objective of the company. Companies can develop new markets based on either entering a new country, going into a new region, identifying a new city or a town, or even a new demographical segment such as targeting a new age group, a different gender, or a different social class can help you to develop the market. Students, this strategy requires capital investment because you are now moving to new locations or you want to invest in more marketing efforts in that new region. This is a risky strategy as compared to the market penetration, as the company could fail in the new markets that it intends to move into. Let us look into the various considerations used for the market development. Number one, it is important to conduct market research to assess the attractiveness of the new market. It would be foolish on the part of the company to simply enter into new markets without actually assessing how good is that market. It's equally important to assess your own resources also before you commit to the new markets, because getting into the new market is not that difficult, but establishing yourself requires commitment of resources in the long run. So companies which do not have access to adequate resources should be cautious enough for choosing the market development strategy. It's important to examine the adaptability of the business to the new market. and understand competitors and assess the source of competitive advantage. It's important to know that against whom you are going to compete. What is your source of competitive advantage and what is the source of competitive advantage to the competitors? So at times the competitor could be strong enough that it does not allow you enough space to penetrate deep into the market. And it's important to plan the timing to enter the new market. You should always keep a watch that what is the good time to enter into a new market so that you get enough space and leverage to establish your credibility. So let us look into the conditions that when should you develop the market or you choose the market development strategy. When there is new unexploited or unstructured market, then it's a good space to go in for the market development strategy. Areas where the competition or the market is generally unorganized provides an opportunity for firm to go and penetrate and develop the new markets. When the company is very successful with the existing products, so if you have a good solid product but you want to expand, you want to grow, market development is a good choice. When there is availability of new channels of distribution which are inexpensive and reliable, so if the new channel exists, go for the market development strategy. When the company has surplus production capacity, so if you have surplus production and your existing markets are not consuming that much, in that case you don't have a choice, you have to expand your market and you go for the market development strategy. When the company's product scope is large and is global in nature, right? So we have seen that for example a company like Uber has a very innovative product at hand and they can go in for global markets. And we have seen that recently how innovatively they have tried to capture the Indian market space as well. When the company is having surplus capital and human resources to manage the total operations. So if you have capital, you have people who can manage wider operations, market development becomes a logical choice. Let us look into the various strategic alternatives available with the firm to develop the new market. These are: companies can choose to expand geographically, that means they can enter into new cities, towns, regions, countries. They can add new channel partners. Companies can choose to create new customer segments for their products. Recently, we have seen the emergence of online platforms. So companies can choose online platforms to reach new markets. The company can focus on non-users and create new users of the product. That's another way to tap the untapped potential of the market. Or modify price to create new customer segment. Companies can also choose to offer variants at different price points to attract customers, and this way you can actually develop new market and come up with wider options for new customers. Let us look into the example of market development. One of the India's major telecom, Airtel, it expanded to international markets like Bangladesh and Africa to seek business growth. Another leading automaker, Bajaj, leverages its brand power in various international markets by exporting its products. Bajaj has been able to establish its credibility in markets like Sri Lanka and also in various African countries where the conditions are similar to the Indian market. Saloon business, we know, is becoming a growing business, and one of the leading brands, Javed Habib, has almost become a pan-India brand by entering into new cities and regions, and has also even moved internationally to establish itself as an international brand. So after discussing market penetration and market development, let us look into what is the product development strategy. So when the firm develops new product for existing market, this type of strategy is known as product development strategy. This strategy calls for a continuous research to study changing consumer needs. We all know that consumer needs are not static, it's a dynamic concept. So it's a continuous research process that helps you to understand what the customer really wants. In this case, the firm should either build its own research and development team or can even outsource this process to develop new products and services. Students, this is a high risk strategy, as we all know that more than 90% of the new products fail. So the new product development may not succeed, and there is an even higher risk that the reputation of existing product can also get spoiled. So firms should choose this strategy very carefully as a growth option. So what are the considerations of choosing this strategic option? Number one, it's important to assess the stability of the new customer need and also examine its growth potential. Students, it's very much important to differentiate between what is a fad, what is a fashion, and what is a trend. At times, customer may require certain thing which is just a fad, which may come and go in just couple of months or few days. But companies should always try to study trends because trends remain for a longer period of time. Also, in case the need is not required right now, but it has a growth potential, that's an important point where the company can choose a product development strategy. Because of the cultural differences in various markets, the new product may not be acceptable everywhere. So it's important to understand the cultural differences and create products that are in line with the beliefs of the market where you intend to serve. The channel partners may resist the promotion of new product because of the reduced price margin. It's important to win the confidence of channel partners before you choose to create new product. And the new product may cannibalize the existing product variant. We know that in technology products or in mobile phones, whenever a new variant comes, it basically eats up the share of your old variant. Companies can deliberately choose to come up with this strategy just to ensure that you keep on earning more margins through your new product. So when do you develop a new product or choose the product development strategy? When the competitors are offering better products at an affordable price. So if your competitor has a better product, you don't have a choice, but you have to come up with a new product. When a company is struggling in a high growth industry, where the industry is promising, but you don't have enough quality products to offer, you don't have a choice, but you have to come up with new products to exploit the opportunity. When the organization is successful, but successful products are in the maturity stage of the product life cycle. So either you change the life cycle of the product or you choose to come up with new products that can help you to sustain in the long run. When the organization is offering the products which are very sensitive to the technological developments. I discussed earlier that technology firm chooses new product as a growth option. When an organization is having a strong research and development base, that's a good condition to constantly come up with new products that exceeds the expectation of the consumers. So what are the strategies for new product development? You can create new to the world products, right? So for when Facebook came or when WhatsApp came, they were new to the world products. Pharmaceutical company constantly come up with new vaccines that are new to the product, which means that the product which does not exist at present. This is a high risk and high return as the consumers might simply reject the new offering. The second option is to create new product lines, which means when the company offer product from a new category. For example, ITC, which was into the paper business or into the tobacco business, decided to enter into the food business and launch the Sunfeast range of products. The third strategy for developing new product is to improvise and revise the existing products. So when the company launches the improved and revised version of the existing product, that's another way to come up with the new product development. We know that technology firms, especially mobile brands, they constantly keep up with improvised versions very frequently. Companies which are into the software business also come up with new versions very frequently. The fourth strategic option is to come up with new to the firm product. So when the company introduces a product which is already in the market, but it is new to the firm, that is called as new to the firm product. For example, Google launched its Google Plus. There's a point of caution here that firm should be careful before launching the product as it can result in the disaster for the main product line. The fifth option is that company can introduce a low price variant. For example, Honda launched a low price variant for its popular model Honda City. So when companies which offer expensive range of products, the company can choose to introduce a low price variant to make it much more affordable. The sixth option is that company can reposition its product, which is when the company identifies that the product has new usage, it can reposition its product, which can ultimately come up as a new product for the consumers. For example, brand like Quaker reposition its oat range of product as a wholesome food for health conscious consumer. And we have seen that after Quaker repositioned it, various brands have come up with the oats as a breakfast option for the consumers. Finally, the company can also choose brand extension as a strategy for moving with the new product development. In this strategy, the existing brand leverages its consumers and brand image to the new product. There's a high risk again associated with this strategy, because if the new product becomes unsuccessful, it also tarnishes the image of the existing product and the entire brand can get wiped out. So to make this strategy a success, one should use extension when there is a logical association between the original product and the new product, but still it is hard to predict that brand extension will be a success or not. So students, let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. As we have been discussing right from the beginning of this module, that expansion and growth is an essential part of the strategy for firms. It's only through growth and expansion that the company ultimately become profitable and are able to sustain in the long run. And among the various strategic options, we discussed about the intensive strategy for growth. We discussed and identified that how it is a low risk strategy as compared to the other strategies. One of the basic frameworks that is used to understand intensive strategy is given by Igor Ansoff, that is popularly known as Ansoff matrix. And we saw that the three types of intensive strategy that we discussed in this module include market penetration, market development, and product development. Market penetration, we saw that when the company wants to use its existing products in the existing market, where ultimately the objective is to increase the market share of the company. We also discussed about various strategies which can be used to increase the penetration within the market. And we also highlighted about that under what conditions a market penetration strategy would be a viable strategy to choose. The second strategic option, as according to the Ansoff matrix which we discussed, was the market development strategy. And we saw that market development strategy is all about introducing the existing products and services into the new markets. We also discussed that how various strategic options are available to the company to actually develop new markets. Though this is a relatively risky strategy as compared to the market penetration strategy, yet market development becomes an essential part of various firms. The third option of the Ansoff matrix that we discussed was the product development strategy. This is used when the organization wants to improve or modify the existing products so as to increase the sale of existing products and services. We discussed various options under the product development strategy, right from new to the world product, revisions, modifications, or even brand extensions which the firm can use to develop the product development strategy. All these intensive strategies requires rigorous effort and implemented intensively to get the desired results. The purpose of the intensive strategy is to increase the market share and profit by making the existing products better and also by introducing new products in the new and existing markets. Students, if these strategies are implemented properly, they help to achieve a much better competitive position for sure. And also these strategies are not that risky as compared to the other strategies, and therefore these are used frequently by most of the companies. Thank you.